Hello everybody, this is TipTop MTG here today with another Magic the Gathering video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the MTG Arena State of the Game May 2020. For those of you who don't know, the state of the game is basically just them telling you, hey, this is what's happening in the May update. And sometimes they give you like some information about the future, but most of the time it is just the update for the month. And so this update is coming out this Thursday, and its big like headline is Historic Anthology 3. Now we're gonna go down through this whole post. I might give you some information, point out some things, and it should be pretty fun. All right. In just a few short days, the next game update hits Magic the Gathering Arena, and it's bringing both new cards and new ways to play. Trust us, if the cards in Historic Anthology 3 don't give you flashbacks to some of the most iconic cards and creatures in MTG's history, we don't think anything will. And if that's not enough to convince you, keep reading. Perhaps the arena open and the opportunity to win monetary rewards at home in your pajama pants will keep your finger squarely on the scroll bar. Come what may, it's state of the game time. Okay, so basically that's their little intro. So we're going to start this off with Historic Anthology 3. So if you happen to miss our announcement stream, which I covered, they announced that these are the cards being added, and they announced that they're adding a historic ranked queue permanently, as well as the card previews. Here's a quick summary. I also covered those. Here's a quick summary of everything you need to know about the latest Historic Anthology coming to MTG Arena later this week. Historic Anthology 3 introduces 27 new cards to both MTG Arena and Historic Play. It's got shrines, it's got flashback, it's got creatures you control have flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, protection from red and black. Yes, all your creatures, all those things. It even has an Eldrazi, that being Ulamog. Purchasing an Historic Anthology 3 bundle will add a playset of 27 cards to your collection and will be available for 4,000 gems or 25,000 gold. That's the same price that the current one is, but you get 2 extra cards. You'll also have the option to craft individual cards using wild cards of the appropriate rarity. So, the full list is... I break it down in a little more detail in a separate video. So in the upper right hand corner throughout this my talking, you'll be able to see my breakdown of their announcement stream and my breakdown of the card previews. So check those out. I'm not really going to go over them, but this is the last Historic Anthology bundle we have planned for the year. This is like the first we're hearing this. We heard that we're going to take a little break from them, but we now know that there are no more coming this year. As between standard cards sets, so standard cards, Jumpstart, Amonkhet, and here's something interesting, and other Pioneer-focused set remasters. Okay, so let's take a look at this. This is the last Historic Anthology bundle we have for this year. Okay, so they're talking about this year now. They have standard card releases. Okay, we have Jumpstart, which we know is happening in the July update. We have Amonkhet, which we don't know about. We know that there's a Pioneer Masters, but then there's Pioneer Focus Set Remasters, which implies that there are at least 2 other remasters, not Pioneer Masters, but remasters, coming this year, which means we would have Jumpstart, Amonkhet, Pioneer Masters, and at least 2 more set remasters. That's 5 sets of just historic stuff, and then we have 2 standard set releases, which, by the way, if you count that up, that leaves us perfectly in December. So that's kind of crazy. The idea that we might be getting new card sets every month is pretty cool, and the fact that they're not historic anthologies, they're full-size sets, although that means if you are a historic player, you are going to have to really catch up. Also, another thing to note, it looks like there's a blue little token up here, which looks like it'll be the draft, which we'll get into later. Actually, I'll talk about that later. Speaking of historic... Oh, wait, I should probably finish reading this. I'm sorry. We'll be adding a bunch of additional cards to the format from a variety of different places. We've said it before, and we'll say it again. We'll be continuing to support historic as we expand our Eternal format offerings, both with cards that fall outside the realm of Pioneer and Standard, and through various historic-focused events and play queues. So, basically, they are planning on continuing to support it. And by the way, I always say this, Historic is bigger than Pioneer. Historic will, in the end, be every card ever printed on MTG Arena. Not just to Pioneer, then stop. They say they're working towards Pioneer, but that does not mean when they hit it, they're going to stop. Alrighty. Just thought I'd mention that. So Historic Ranked, for those of you historic fans out there, perhaps just as exciting as the introduction of new cards in the return of the Historic ranked queue, and this time for good. Starting with the May game update, so like 2 days from now, both historic ranked and historic traditional ranked queues will be available in MTG Arena, and we have no intention of turning them off again. They said this was due to their increasing of historic content coming out, which actually, now thinking about it, now that we know that they're canceling historic anthologies, means that there might honestly be a historic set drop like almost every month this year. And if you count standard sets as historic set drops, because they do get those cards, that's pretty crazy. And before you ask, you'll receive full play rewards for historic ranks, including quest progress, as well as daily and weekly win rewards. So they're basically saying, yeah, historic is now a real format. All right, Cube Draft. Now that player drafting is so last month's game update, so they added player drafting last month, it's time to bring another fan favorite format to MTG Arena, Cube Draft. So they did Cube Sealed, and now they're doing Cube Draft, and it's player drafts. So our cube consists of 555 cards pulled from everything that's available in MTG Arena, including both Ikoria, Lair of Behemoths, and Historic Anthology III cards. You'll open 3 booster packs that contain 15 cards and draft them against your fellow players. Each pack may contain multiple exciting rares and mythics. It is important to note that, like Cube Sealed, Cube Draft will be phantom, meaning that you won't actually keep any of the cards that you draft. There's some exciting strategies and synergies we built into this cube, and drafting against players should help ensure that each draft is fun and a unique experience. Our first event is arriving on June 12th, so that's next month, but I mean, still this month's update. And as we did with Ikoria, we'll be letting you get a taste of this format on us. Your first Cube Draft will have no entry fee, and both the complimentary entry and the event itself will be available until Core Set 2021, which is happening in like a month. By that, they mean the next game update is Core Set 2021. So basically, you'll get one free reward, which is why I think, although it's not here anymore, I was saying that I think this blue token up here is a Cube Draft entry. That's just my prediction, but whatever. Yeah, that's pretty cool that they're giving you a free one. It looks like you can only get coins from this, but you do get free coins, free cards, so I don't think there's anything really to complain about, and it's all optional. So, I guess if you are a Cube fan, you might complain that it's 4,000 coins, which is, it's actually, when you think about the fact that this is a player draft, that's less than half of the normal player drafting price, but it'll be interesting to see what the reward structure is, and that's when we can really judge it, and I will do a video breaking that down. But wait, there's still time for one more new event we're adding to MTG Arena. It's unlike anything we've done before. So this is the Arena Open. So in the April state of the game, we briefly mentioned a new type of competitive experience with a short duration and high skill cap, providing ways to win significant rewards beyond gold, gems, and booster packs in MTG Arena. We also mentioned that given the circumstances surrounding us, this is something we've decided to fast track a bit to provide more ways for you to compete from the safety of your home. We are now ready to share more about it. As we prepare for the first Arena Open. Before we get started, there are a few important legal things. Okay, so basically what this is it's an event that you can enter for 20,000 gold or 4,000 gems, and the best reward that you can get is 2,000 real dollars USD. So you can turn your in-game currency into money, which means technically you can turn your wins into money. But we're going to talk about this a little bit. The fine print, you must be 18 years or older to participate. Regional eligibility restrictions apply, void where prohibited. Receiving monetary rewards requires having or creating Wizards, DCI, and iPayout accounts. And you must refer to the official terms and conditions for complete detail. So this is a 2-day event, and I'm going to briefly go over this. Again, if you want a full breakdown of this event, there will be a card in the upper right where we talk about this, where I talked about this. They released information about this earlier today. Basically, you're going to pay 20,000 coins, and your goal is to get 7 wins before 3 losses in best of 1. Okay? For the first 2 wins, you get nothing. Then at max, you get, if you were to go 7-2 or 7-0 or whatever, you get 7 wins before you get 3 losses. You end up with 2,000 gems and a day 2 pass. Then the next day will happen, and you're going to have a limited time to join the event. So make sure you do that. Then you'll get another opportunity to try and get 7 wins without getting 3 losses. I don't know if they've actually said this. 7 wins or 2 losses, whichever comes first. Okay? And basically, if you get to the next day and get at least 1 win, you'll break even in terms of gems. So if you can get to day 2, you've pretty much broken even, and day 2 is best of 3. So you're going to go best of 1, then switch to best of 3. So I know a lot of people are going to be kind of upset with that, but I think it's probably a good idea. Honestly, best of 1, okay, part of their whole thing is it's super convenient. You can just get up, go, do one, then maybe come back later and do one. You still have to do it all within one day, but if you want a full breakdown about all this information, they pretty much said all of this in the other article. I will leave a card in the upper right, so check that out. Okay, odds and ends, okay, that was a big one, and we still have a few more things on our checklist that we need to cover. Brawler's Guild Hall, so a lot of times they don't talk about this, but the Brawler's Guild Hall will continue to have no entry fee in support of our Stay at Home, Play at Home initiative. That's good. It'll run from May 21st through July 1st, so that's kind of indicative of when the July update's the June update, is gonna happen. And future Brawlers Guild Hall events will run on a month-to-month cadence, starting and ending with each month instead of between game updates. Oh, okay. So instead of each game update, it'll be from starting in June. It'll be basically all of June to July 1st. Then on July 1st, the next one will start. So it'll always be the first of the month that it resets, which I think is a good idea. Because the game updates can be varied, somewhere in the beginning of the month, somewhere at the end, so I think that's a good idea. The May event introduces Hana Ship's Navigator to Brawl, and participants will receive a copy of this card for their first win. Also, there was a Bandit Restricted announcement yesterday. I covered that as well. Check it out. But yeah, this is a interesting artifact and enchantment card, which is not appearing when I hover over it. It basically it's a creature legend, 1/2 for 3, pay 3, tap, return target artifact or enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. So, very interesting. And so it'll continue to be free. So make sure you go in there and get at least one win to get one copy of Hana, whether you want to use it in Brawl or not. It's also legal in Historic, so that's a 28th card being added this update. FNM at home. Friday Night Magic at Home continues with both in-game and with participating WPN stores. We've scheduled the events through June 19th and will continue to support local communities and stores from the safe distance of online play for as long as necessary. You can view the current schedule on our FNM at Home page or below in our upcoming event schedule. Oh, that's right here. Okay, that's new. That wasn't there before. Then, goodbye 32-bit client. So this is more technical, but the game update marks the swan song for our 32-bit client as we upgrade to a 64-bit client in June with the release of Core Set 2021. This is a necessary step as we look to improve both the game and client performance, as well as we expand our supported platforms. This should only impact less than 1% of players, but if you're not sure which version of Windows you're currently running, you can verify it in your system settings. Okay, basically what this means is it should be a little bit more stable. It should be able to run a little bit better, but most importantly, depends on who you are. If you don't own a Mac, it's not most importantly, but this is one of the major steps towards getting macOS support. So I know a lot of people are against macOS support and they think they shouldn't waste the time with it, but I think adding as many people to the that's an Apple term, to the Magic community is a good thing. So I think that this is overall a good thing. Okay, output logs. If you use logs to track your MTG Arena gameplay, pay attention to this. We're doing some behind-the-scenes work. So they just added some more information for output logs. This really doesn't mean anything for you. If you use tools that manage things using your logs, which I know a lot of people do, check with them. They'll tell you about what is important and what they've updated. Quality of life, bugs, and everything. And of course, you can expect a slew of bug fixes alongside some quality of life improvement as well. We'll be updating the deck icons to provide more context for why a deck is invalid. So it'll tell you, hey, this is invalid because there's a banned card, or this is invalid because you don't own the cards, and it'll tell you, such as, by the way, showing both the type and number of wildcards needed to finish crafting the saved deck list. So even if you don't have enough wildcards, it'll tell you. You'll also have the option to view the battlefield after a match to see the end of game board state. So if you wanted to see what the board state looked like, you can wait and see it so that you can be like, oh, wait, could I have done this? Maybe use it as a learning experience, see how you died. There's lots of different things. Tournament Historic Best of 3, Timers, Match Clocks, and Forced Ban List will be supported in direct challenge matches, so it'll just be a mode. And we've added the hotkey option to float all mana for those of you who wish to live dangerously and tap out while your opponent has one card in hand and an open blue mana source. So there'll be a button to basically just tap all your mana. Which I like. I don't know how that's going to work with multicolored mana. I don't know if it's going to ask you or if it's going to try and be predictive, and if you use this button, you better hope it picks the right colors for you. Cleanup step. This update will be available on May 21st. Check their status page. Now, why don't we look at the upcoming events, because there seems to be a lot of these. So in terms of quick drafts, they are flashing, or they're like they do every 2 weeks. So there's going to be a quick draft of War of the Spark. That actually already started. So it's War of the Spark now. It'll go back to Ikoria for 2 weeks. Then they're going to do a Rivals of Ixalan quick draft. So that's a historic draft. So that's like a flashback draft. Then the player drafting, these are just staying around. June 25th is the next, is when Corset 2021 is being added. Then we have specialty events, or specialty drafts. We have Arena Cube Draft, the Phantom. So we just learned about that. That's June 12th through June 25th. And then Corset 2020 Omniscience Draft, that's interesting, June 6th through June 9th, yeah. Okay, then Friday Night Magic at Home. So Historic Artisan is May 22nd, so that's the next one coming up. May 29th through May 30th is Cascade. May 5th through May 6th is Historic Constructed. June 12th through June 13th is Momir. And then June 19th through 20th is Historic Brawl. So I like Historic Brawl. Some players are going to be upset about Momir, but I think that's completely fine. Honestly, all these events are fine. For workshops, we have some Historic... I don't remember. These all mean different things, but I haven't learned them all, so that's okay. Either way, historic events, the ranked queue will be available through Infinity. Historic Shakeup, so that's like standard Shakeup where they ban specific cards, will be available June 6th through June 12th, so that's interesting. Historic Challenge, which is basically a high entry fee, high risk, high reward event. And then there's also additional historic events during FNM at Home. And then Brawler's Guild Hall, the Festival of Clever Reflections, and the Arena Open. So those are all the events you can look forward to on MTG Arena. Honestly, this game update isn't bad. It's not as big, I feel like, as we've had in the past. I mean, Historic Anthology 3, if you don't play Historic, that's not that important. Cube Draft, I mean, we're getting a free one, so that's fun. Everyone can do it. I recommend you participate. I mean, even if you get 0 wins, you end up with some free cards. And yeah, just overall, the Arena Open's pretty big. I know there are a lot of players that this doesn't fit their playstyle, so honestly, there are a group of players that just this whole update really doesn't apply to. If you don't play Historic and you don't like drafting and you're free to play, which I mean is a very specific player base, this update doesn't have much for you. But honestly, I think it's overall pretty good. We're starting to see the shift towards a macOS client. Overall, pretty good update. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.